Welcome to Postcast tonight, where the Utah Jazz defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder and really look marvelous in their performance. You have to be careful to not take too much out of it, but because it's preseason, but boy, you can just see where this team is ahead. It's kind of counterintuitive that they're ahead of the game with a new head coach, but the effort and the time that they put in by getting there in mid-September, this team is playing the game well. They're getting the shots. They're doing their defensive concepts. There's a philosophy behind their playing basketball, and they're executing it right now.
And you can tell that, and how hard they're working at it, first of all. But you can just tell that they're comfortable now with and trustworthy of what they're doing out there on the floor, and what Coach Snyder has been having them do throughout training camp. Because if you watch training camp, as you and I have, it's constantly over and over and over. Put a little bit in here, then you work hard at that, then you put a little bit more in on the other end, and now you get to the point where you react to situations out there on the floor. You react to reads, and I just think they're doing an awfully good job. Now, if you talk to Coach Snyder about that, he would might not be as optimistic of what they're doing now as we are, but we're seeing something that we're very impressed with.
It's interesting to watch them practice. I mean, there were just sets today that we watched them go through and shoot around. They have a different way they do shoot around. They go through their regular stuff, and then they break into these different stations, and we saw those stations come to fruition today on the offensive end, but maybe most of all on the defensive end. The transition defense has become the story to me of this preseason, and if that continues in the regular season, they are going to be okay. They're going to be much better than people think. They allowed 6 fast break points tonight. They were on a last-second play here where they got a dunk, and then a turnover by Alec and a turnover by Dante in the first quarter that happened above the free throw line. There was not a single missed shot, outlet, Russell Westbrook, open floor, fast break point tonight for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
And I know you don't like percentages. I do. And I think that by eliminating those are layups that we're talking about, transition points. So what do you get? You get a lower field goal percentage, which means that you're forcing them to score in the half court sets. And you're forcing them to shoot a little bit, probably more jump shots than they want to shoot.
And the way they're doing this is by building a wall, collective group, playing with a string is the cliche, and they're really executing this marvelously.
Yeah, they really, really are. And again, you can just see the confidence in the guys out there because they're learning to read and play off of each other. And you watch Rudy this morning got a little confused on a couple of things, and Coach Jones straightened him out on it. I was trying to watch and see if he picked up on things out here tonight. He absolutely did. And you can see when he gets the ball to the top of the key, he's waiting for the pick not there. He immediately goes the other way. I mean, you just see that they're reading what they need to do out there on the floor, and they're responding, and that keeps the pace of play intact on what Coach Snyder wants.
Enes Kanter had not had a very good preseason up until the other night. He was shooting below 40%. He wasn't hitting his threes. He had a pretty good night the other night against Carlos Boozer and the Lakers. And then tonight he was just flat out fabulous.
We were worried about him. And he struggled last year. We were wondering how far along he's come in 1 year. And then, talking to Coach Johnson this morning, I know you and I have talked about this many, many times. He's only been playing basketball 7 years.
Right.
And should he know how to play the game as thoroughly as some of the guys have been playing throughout their whole career? No, he shouldn't. But he's coming along, and we were worried about him being a stretch 4. I mean, he wasn't shooting the basketball very well, but you couldn't tell when you talk to him because he's still that happy-go-lucky guy joking around with you, that type of thing. And I'm glad to see he had a good night tonight.
The most improved player to me thus far is not Rudy Gobert. It's Trey Burke.
I would tend to agree with you. Yes.
His defense tonight on Westbrook, his ability to go to the basket tonight, these are things he just simply – they're still not great. There's times where he's too small, but he's a different player.
Totally different player. You remember last year he took a ton of jump shots. And this year it's changed up a little bit. And I really think this system has really helped him. Over the summer has helped him. The fact that he got in here early with the rest of the guys and they got to playing with each other, that's helped him there as well. But Rudy, I think, is really because he struggled tremendously last year, and he's come a long ways. The Summer League has helped him. I think the World Games, that's what they're called. That's
World Cup.
World Cup has helped him there as well. And he's going to be a force, I think. He's really going to help this team this year.
First time ever, we have some questions coming in. Let's check them quickly. Clint wants to know, any thoughts on Gobert and Favors on the floor together, Ron?
That's something I think that's going to grow on us. Can they do it from time to time? I think they can, just depending on what teams they'll be playing against. And the key is going to be how mobile will that power forward be, or how mobile will the center be, and whether Coach Snyder can leave them out on the floor for an extended period of time. Now, maybe they'll have such a good night that he'll make the other teams adjust to them, So it's just something that – but I like to see that from time to time.
Philip wants to know which three-related stat is more important for Ennis, 2 3-pointers or 3 assists. I might take the 3 assists.
I'd take the 3 assists
I think
as well.
Without the 3-pointers, he can still play. Without the assists, he's not playing on this team.
Yeah, and of course, we want him to shoot the 3 because everybody's going to shoot the 3. I haven't seen Coach Snyder get upset with anyone that has taken the 3 unless they're actually just forcing something out there on the floor. But the assist, how many did he have last year? I'm sure you still have it in the back.
He only had 8 his first year. He was a little better last year. He had about 1 a game last year. So it's not.
But he'll get an opportunity because of the way they play to get some assists. That's for sure.
And finally, a question from Adam coming in. What concerns do you both have during training camp that have been answered either positively or negatively so far this season? I'll start that. Truthfully, a concern is the bench is not very good, and Quinn's gonna have to figure out how to use the bench. And that showed tonight. I think they went 4 of 24. 4 of 25 shooting. That's going to be a hard one for the Jazz to get through without overburdening their starters. That would be the one negative. On the things that I have answered positively is, frankly, Trey Burke's play that I saw tonight is the best I've ever seen out of him. I knew he was clutch and he made big shots, but there were so many weaknesses in his game last year. I still wasn't convinced whether or not he was ready to be a starting point guard in the NBA. What I've seen in this training camp tells me he may be able to do that.
And I don't think I had too many concerns as a team. I mean, especially at the beginning of the year, but I was concerned about Rudy. I was concerned about the pace of play there for Rudy, how the game was going to speed up. Could he keep up? Boy, I've watched him run the floor. Yep. And he gets up and down the floor. And so that concern has definitely gone away. Now, the only concern I have is that can they improve from the free throw line, because for what it looks like, that they're going to get a lot of free throws. And if they do that, I'd love to see them be able to shoot 75% from the free throw line every night. And if that happens, they'll stay in basketball games even when they're having a bad shooting night.
Single most positive thing for me, it would be the transition defense. That's the key to so much. Mm-hmm. If they can do that, they'll be all right.
Continue to do that. Yeah.
Huge win by the Jazz, 103-86. And Kevin Durant wheels himself out over here.
On his little scooter.
Let's see, where is that camera? Right there. There's KD on his scooter. Reminds us of what was missing tonight. One of the great players of the NBA, truly a joy to watch, and we wish him well and wish him back on the court as soon as possible. On behalf of Ron, I'm David. Have a good night and be safe. That has been Postcast.